Hello, everyone. My name is Christy Smith, and this is Nine Lives Energy, and together we energize your body from the inside out. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode where we are going to talk about the eclipse that is going to be happening tonight at 2:54 a.m. So I hope that you have set your alarm clocks because you're going to be able to experience an astrological event that is pretty cool, and it is called a lunar eclipse. So we have two different types of eclipses. We have lunar eclipses, and we also have solar eclipses. And the lunar eclipse tonight, when you get to see it in its totality at that time, will be the blood red moon. So let's get into it. All right. So this is the two different types of eclipses that we have. So solar eclipses are points which govern the collective and us personally in order to move in a certain direction, right? That's what the eclipses do for us. And they are governed by the north node and the south node, which we will get into here in just a minute. So if you are in alignment, all right, these eclipses can bring great abundance and victories to you. But if you are not in alignment, it can present some challenges in order to put you on the right path. My cat just decided he was going to come in here. So let me bring him in because he thinks that he is supposed to be up here showing himself on YouTube. And if I'm talking, he wants to have that attention. He doesn't want me to be giving anybody or anything attention but him. But, you know, whenever I'm free, he doesn't want to have anything to do with me, right? That's a cat for you. So I hope that this explains what the different solar eclipses and the lunar eclipses are. And we're going to show you a picture here in just a second. So let me go back. So a lunar eclipse, if we look at this real quick, the Earth comes between the sun and the moon. So as we can see, the Earth is a lot bigger than the moon, and you will be able to see the moon turn red because of this movement in front of it from the sun. And you can see how much circumference of that moon will cast a shadow on the Earth. All right. Whereas the solar eclipse is not going to be that big of an influence because the moon is smaller than Earth. And you'll see that in just a second. So the lunar eclipses, these energies can be felt up to 6 months. And as I discussed, it was about Earth coming between the moon and the sun. And it is about endings and breakthroughs. So we have the breakdown in order to have the breakthrough. Now, the difference between the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse is because the moon comes between the sun and the Earth. Now, the moon obviously is a lot smaller than the Earth, and you can see kind of like this pinpoint point right there. So this is why when we have a solar eclipse, that band of totality is very small because that moon is casting a shadow in with the sun, and you can still see that ring around the sun whenever that moon goes in front of it. So if you have been fortunate enough to see an eclipse, you know what I'm talking about. But even if you don't see the total eclipse, you would still be able to see the path of the eclipse, and you can probably see that it has like a half moon shape cut out of it. So you won't be able to see totality, and it can be anywhere between 30% to 50% to even 95%, but that totality influence is going to be pretty small. Now, this solar eclipse that we had last year, April 8th, that was about new beginnings and new opportunities. So things could be closing out in your life in order to bring in the new things. And these energies, they can last up to 1 year. So what are the nodes? And then the nodes, if you see this symbol on your birth chart, so if you are able, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go to astroseek.com. That's ASTRO hyphen or dash seek, SEEK.com. And you can put in your birth chart information in there. And you can see where you have the nodes, right? So these are these change every 1.5 years. So last year the nodes were in Aries and Libra. So the North Node was in Libra. The North Node was in Aries. People were stepping into opportunities to allow them to be more independent or to stand up for themselves, or just to be somebody new, having a new identity. And the South Node was in Libra. So Libra controls our relationships to other people, and Aries is about the self. So there could have been some challenges around that in your life, and the Aries and the Libra people were very much impacted. And me, for one, I had the eclipse fall on my birthday based upon my degree point. And so I have been greatly influenced over the last year. So this is not a point in the sky that you can actually see. It's not a planet. They say that this is the head of the dragon, which is the North Node, and the South Node is the tail of the dragon. So the North Node is what you should be stepping into. So whenever there's a challenge, you need to see where the North Node is, because that is who you are trying to be more like in this lifetime. And the South Node is who you're trying to step away from, and is also in the last lifetime that you had. Now, all the planets move forward, okay, unless you see an R beside one of the planets, that means retrograde. But the nodes of fate, they move backwards on the astrological wheel. So this is where this eclipse is going to be happening in the sky tonight. So this is what you should be able to be seeing. Now, this is the South Node, all right, that is conjunct the moon. Now, again, you're not going to be able to see the nodes, but you're going to be able to see the Earth going in between the sun and the moon. And so you will be able to see that blood moon tonight. So the North Node is what the collective, right? Because the nodes control the collective. What is the collective trying to step into? So the North Node is stepping into being more Piscean, because it just got out of trying to step into what its new identity was going to be, right? So right now, this is trying to get people to step into spirituality, spiritual health. It is governed by the feet. Aries is governed by the head. So every single zodiac sign governs a certain body part. So make sure that you check out my Astro Health series, and I go over each zodiac sign and I talk about those a little bit more in depth. It is governed by the planet Neptune and Jupiter. So if you are a Pisces, it's important for you to know where Neptune and Jupiter are at all times. Now, Neptune, I believe, takes 165 years to go around this whole wheel. Okay, so that's a pretty long time. And some of these transits we have not seen in our lifetimes, and we won't ever be able to see in our lifetimes. And Jupiter in traditional astrology rules Pisces, and Jupiter spends about a year in each zodiac sign. So Pisces controls the unconsciousness of the collective, your imagination. It's a very creative sign, right? It controls music and film and TV, the screens, all right? What is on your phone screen, what is on your television screen. People that are Pisces usually have high psychic abilities. They probably can remember their dreams, and they are like to sleep, right? And it also controls behind the scenes. Now, some adverse aspects of Pisces, because every sign has its good qualities, I'd say, and then some challenging parts of ourself that we probably need to work on. So Pisces also controls hidden enemies. So there could be, over the next year and a half, hidden enemies coming to the surface, the collective finding out who the real enemy is. It also controls the medical system, mental institutions, the illusions of life, escapism. So we come from a very spiritual place, right? And Pisces is our most spiritual sign, but we can step out of being in the body and stepping into being too out of the body, and being in escapism because we don't want to be in the body, because Earth can be a challenging place, right? It's not always fun to be here. You know, we get our heart broken, we lose jobs, we maybe have an accident, that challenges our health. So, but these are all lessons that we're supposed to be learning. And so for the collective, we are supposed to be possibly stepping out of these illusory parts of Pisces and stepping into the more positive aspects of Pisces, which is spirituality and being able to step into some of our psychic abilities. It also controls boundaries, but sometimes Pisces can have weak boundaries and can cause us to be boundlessness, where we try to help so many people that we forget about ourselves. Now, the South Node, the things that the collective is trying to step away from is Virgo type aspects that, are kind of adverse. But Virgo is controlled by Mercury. So if you're a Virgo, you need to be paying attention to where Mercury is, because that is your governing planet, right? And a lot of times, if Mercury is in retrograde, Virgos can be feeling it kind of intensely, or even Virgos rising. It controls organization, it controls cleaning, it controls the details, being of service, our mental health. It controls our pets. People that have a lot of Virgo placements in their chart probably have jobs in the health system or have jobs working with pets. Virgos usually, if they have some good placements, they are very organized. They can probably walk into somebody's room and say, "Oh my God, this is out of place." And I would look at this. You want to get a Virgo to read your work that possibly you need to send off somewhere, and get them to double check it, because they'll be able to find any misspelled words. That's for sure. It controls supplements and health food, and also being analytical and criticism. However, in the adverse parts of Virgo, people that have a lot of Virgo probably could be kind of fidgety, or could possibly have mental issues, because Mercury controls the mind. And Mercury governs Gemini and Virgo, which control the mind. These people are perfectionists. Okay, so something that probably the collective needs to let go of is, I don't have to be perfect. Sometimes the best that I can do that day is probably somebody's best, all right? But even though it's my okay, it's the best that I can show up for that day. It can also show up as being OCD, having, compulsive type disorders, overthinking too much. As we mentioned earlier, it controls the mind, mental health issues, and being overly critical. So again, if you have not logged into astroseek.com, you need to make sure that you do that so that you can see what your rising sign is, okay? So you are not only your sun sign, all right, but you are your rising sign. And I'm going to share a different screen here for just a minute. So this is astroseek.com. And if this is when the eclipse could be happening for Virgos, all right, so this is what we would call a Virgo rising. But if I moved the dial down a little bit, even though this person's sun, all right, which is represented by this sun right there, this big circle. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. There we go. All right, so even though their sun is in Pisces, they are a Virgo rising. But if I have this person born, 6 hours later, all right, this person is now a Scorpio rising. So this is how the world sees this person, as very kind of Scorpionic, all right? And this is who this person is probably trying to be more like, but doesn't know it, because they're probably having a lot in Pisces going on, okay? But this person probably could step into different spiritual practices that are Scorpionic in nature, and meaning that it's kind of hidden, or the occult. This person probably could be a mystic, because Scorpio controls mysticism. And if this is at 14 degrees, that is a Taurus degree. And this person could possibly bring in hidden monies into their income stream by stepping into the mystic arts in there as a Pisces. Okay, so you want to make sure that you know what your rising sign is, because your rising is kind of how the world sees you. Your sun sign is the expression, I would say, of your ego. And your moon sign is how you feel things emotionally. Okay, so it's important to know all three of those. So this is why I want you to know what your birth chart is. So if you don't know what your birth time is, no sweat. I'm going to be going over all the signs, and you just focus on what your sun sign is, because you can still get a lot of information out about that. So Aries, because you start off the zodiac wheel and you are in the first house, you control the first house of identity, right? You are having this eclipse in your house of health. So it is a good time. All right. So remember, lunar eclipses control the fate of you or your energies, right, for the next 6 months. So cleansing out of your body, doing any type of detox, okay? Maybe letting go of old habits that don't serve you, old work habits, old habits. Maybe it's a good time to quit smoking. Maybe it's a good time to maybe get organized around the home, maybe cleaning out, old things that just don't serve you anymore. There could be a change in your pet, because the 6th house rules pets. That you could be letting go of an older pet that maybe has been here for a long time, is your friend. You may be getting a new pet, all right? And that's going to be a new routine coming in. If you are in the planning stages of maybe having a business, let's do a common sense approach of your goals, not trying to build a pillar on foundation that hasn't even been set up yet, or a foundation that's weak. I will say that Neptune, that is in Pisces right now, is getting ready to transit into Aries. And when that happens, because Neptune controls spirituality, because that's what Pisces governs, and Aries is action and leadership and warriorship and identity. People could be stepping into more spiritual roles in order to help the collective. So it's a good time to maybe be Aries, to be stepping into a spiritual practice, because you might be stepping into a spiritual business in the future. Because the last eclipses have been in your sign, Aries, and the South Node has been in Libra. So there's been a lot of Aries who have changed their identity and have let go of certain relationships that no longer serve them. So it's a good time to figure out who you want to be right now, right? Who you want to be. Taurus, you are having this in the 5th house. So the 5th house is governed by the sun and by Leo, but in your 5th house, because you are a Taurus rising, that's how I'm doing this workshop here, where you could see that if you don't know what your birth time is, you can just say, well, I'm a Taurus, and that would put you as a Taurus rising. So Venus is your chart ruler. And right now, Venus is in retrograde. So Venus controls the pleasures of life, food, music, let's see, having lots of nice things, okay? Taurus likes to have lots of nice things and likes to feel good in the body, okay? So let's just watch out for overindulgence. Let's watch out for escapism. I know that there's a lot of things going on right now. And Taurus is real fixed in their energy. It is our fixed earth. So sometimes we don't want to give up those habits, right? We don't want to make those changes, but it is in your best interest to do so. So there could be a change of your hobbies or your gifts, and maybe things that you used to do for fun and entertainment no longer serve you, okay? And you want to do other things. So you want to make time for things that you're passionate about, passionate pursuits, because the 5th house is our passions and what entertains us in our free time. It also controls the inner child. So there could be some letting go of some inner child wounds. maybe things that you've held on to, you know, with your family, or maybe got picked on when you were younger, or maybe you weren't able to be what you wanted to be when you were younger, and now you have the ability to do so. So my advice to you would be able to use this time to possibly revisit old ways to entertain yourself or be creative. I know as a Taurus moon, all right, I love to express myself with dance. And so being able to come up with choreography and being outside in nature, because Taurus rules nature, is something that I need to be doing in order to help me through some of these transits that are going on personally for me. Our next sign is the Geminis. This is an air sign, and it is, you're going to be having this one in your 4th house, okay? Now, the 4th house governs our home, governs our mother energy. Now, Mercury, as I stated earlier, governs Virgo and also Gemini. So wherever Mercury goes into retrograde, it's going to be affecting the Geminis and also the Virgos, probably more personally, because that's your chart ruler, right? So there could be some release of karmatic family issues, because remember, South Node, where the eclipse is happening with the moon, is about letting go of, right? And the North Node is about what we're stepping into. So releasing of maybe trying to save family members and having those boundaries up and stepping into what is in more of alignment for you, because maybe you had some challenges growing up, and maybe trying to just let that go so that you can step into, if we keep holding on to some of these things, we're never going to be able to be the fun and likable Geminis that, you know, that I know you guys can be. So you need to maybe possibly release some old wounds around family members, or possibly the mother, maybe not getting mothered the way that you wanted to. You could possibly be moving or letting go of a home. This is a fantastic time to use your energy to clean the home, to reorganize the home, to feng shui the home. If you don't know what feng shui is, it is an amazing tool that I use to re-energize my home. And I'll tell you what, I innately, when I moved into this home, feng shuied my house and didn't know it. And then in 2023, I just tried to step it up a notch. And I've just noticed the flow of my life has become just a lot easier to navigate. So look into feng shui. Our next sign that we're going to go over is Cancer. And Cancer, you govern the home and the mother and the moon. Okay, so wherever the moon is, you need to be paying attention. Okay, and so the moon changes signs every 2 to 3 days, and it takes 29 days to go around the astrological wheel. So if there's anything going on with the moon, like if there's a conjunction, meaning that there's a planet or a point that is conjunct the moon, it could highly affect you. Definitely lunar eclipses could, because that's your chart ruler, right? So there could be some changes in mindset, or maybe some changes in the way that you do things in your day-to-day routine, because this 3rd house is governed by Mercury and is about all the things that are within the community. Okay, so it could be letting go of old day-to-day routines, old work routines. Maybe there's it had been an argument maybe with a sibling that you've had, just letting that go. Maybe you're letting go some friends within the community as well, and finding new friendships. Okay, because when we let the things go that are trying to leave our life, and we step into the things that we are able to see now, because you know we've left room for that door to be open for something new to go on that place where something was before. So there could be some completions around changes in the way that you learn, maybe learning something new, because maybe school is ending, maybe you're graduating high school, maybe you're graduating college, and so it's time to maybe step into maybe learning something else, or to step into doing something with whatever you have learned. So again, these changes happen within 6 months. Okay, the energies can be felt, so it's not just this weekend. Okay, this is 6 months after the eclipse tonight. And a good astrological remedy would be to practice time management, because Geminis and Virgos, and I will say Aries, you move really fast, okay? And you want to, Virgo is a little bit better organization than Gemini is, because it's kind of like a younger Mercury, Gemini, versus if Mercury controls this third house, right? And we've gone through the fourth house, the fifth house, and now the sixth house of Virgo, it's more like this is more of a mature Mercury than the Gemini. So practice time management. You people have a lot going on, and you could be like a little gnat. And I love you, Geminis, but it's like, I'm over here, and I'm over here, and I'm over here. And Cancers, you could be feeling that right now. You've got so many things going on that you're like, I don't know where to even start. Okay. So the best thing to do is practicality. What is going to be affecting you the most right now? And let's focus on that, right? Versus I need to focus on this dream that I have over here. Well, let's do some of these practical things behind the scenes so that our dream can have some foundation to sit on. Okay? All right. Next up is the Leos. And I have my rising sign in Leo. And Leo controls hair and being courageous and fun and light. And the sun is your ruler, Leo. So whenever the eclipses, okay, are going through a transit, then you need to be paying attention, because it probably affects you more than other people, and not just those zodiac signs wherever the eclipse is happening. The sun is your chart ruler. So wherever the sun is, you need to be paying attention and putting your energies towards that. All right. So right now it's in Pisces. So what does Pisces rule? It rules spirituality and going inside, and our connection to the spirit. Okay. So this is happening in your second house, and the second house is ruled by Taurus and is governed by Venus. And so Venus is in retrograde, and it's time for you to kind of reassess. Retrogrades are all about the reassess, review, reorganize. Okay. And not to do anything, crazy with our money at this point, but reassess what it is that you value. Okay. Because you could be letting go of some old ways of making income. And if you're doing that, then you need to make sure that you're kind of reassessing how you're spending your money, so we don't overspend and we're like, oh no, I don't have this income that I once had. Okay. So it's okay. The universe is going to be blessing you soon. Okay. With all the new stuff that's going to be coming in, but that there's not going to be anywhere for it to sit if we continue to value the things which probably are not in our alignment. Because Leo is all about having fun, right? And they want to be able to enjoy life. So we got to organize our money so we can, and not just throwing stuff away at frivolous stuff, that doesn't really serve us. Maybe it does in the present moment, but it does not in long term. So there could be some self-worth issues that Leos have around money. So maybe doing some practices, maybe listening to a podcast where, it's helping you increase your self-worth issues, or is getting rid of limiting beliefs around money and having abundance. And a lot of Leos don't have self-worth issues, but some do, just because, we're all different people, right? And no Leo is the same, and no Aries is the same, right? Our next sign is Virgo, and you guys are going to be having this in your first house. So this is the house of identity. And so you guys are going to be highly impacted for the next, I'm going to say, year and a half. And the reason I said that is because the nodes, as I mentioned earlier, spend about a year and a half in each zodiac sign. But this is really going to be impacting you as you let go of an old identity. And I went through this transit last year and the year before. So, I know what it feels like, and it's not fun. And so an astrological remedy to kind of handle this would be to maybe speak to somebody about some of the things that you're possibly going through, right? And that we don't try to keep everything in the mind, Virgo, because Mercury controls the mind, which controls Gemini and Virgo. And so you need to make sure that we aren't so fast in making decisions and that we think a little bit before we speak, or we think a little bit before we make decisions about who we want to be next. There could be some letting go of some friendships and partners that don't serve us, because if we look right here, we have this big stellium. Stellium is 3 or more planets or points in a given sign or house, right? So we have a stellium going on in Pisces across the street from you in the house of relationships. So you could be releasing karmatic relationships so that you can step into who you need to be. And some of these people that you think are your friends really aren't your friends. And I know that that's hard because some of these people may have been in your life for a while, but their journey has come to an end. And so we can probably think about who those people are, or maybe some habits that we might need to release. Okay, because Virgo controls our habits that could be preventing us from stepping into who we're supposed to be. All right. Also, just Virgos like to control everything or have to have a logical explanation for everything, and just go with the flow, right? And not trying to control everything or control others. I know that that makes you feel empowered because you just want everything to be perfect and you want everything to be clean and in balance. But you know, letting go of some of those control issues will allow you to be in better balance and happier, because everybody's here on a different journey, right? And we can't control all the things that are happening around us, but we can control our reaction to it, and we can control ourselves. So I would suggest maybe possibly working with somebody that maybe can help you through some of these issues of maybe possibly having an identity crisis. And, you know, whether it's talk therapy or listening to a podcast or doing Reiki would be amazing for you, or working with some type of spiritualist that can help maybe get to some of these deep-seated issues that might be hiding beneath the scenes that maybe you need to deal with. Okay. Good luck, Virgo. Our next sign is Libra, and this is happening in your 12th house of spirituality. So Venus is in retrograde right now. And so I said this to the Tauruses because Venus controls Libra and also controls Taurus as well. So if it's in retrograde, it's causing you to review a lot of things in your life, or just not overindulging in the things that we like to do. Okay. So because this is happening in your 12th house, you could be potentially susceptible to overindulge and escape. So just make sure that we're not doing that. And the South Node just left your sign, Libra. And I know that the last year and a half has been hard for you. I know. Okay. You've probably had work changes, family changes, identity changes, money changes. I mean, just anything that a Libra needed to let go of, they got hit pretty hard. Okay. So now it's time to step into who do you want to be next, now that you have let go of all these things which don't serve you. Okay. But making sure that you set good boundaries, because we don't want to have that to happen again, where we have weak boundaries and we try to be there for all these other people, because Libra controls others and Aries controls the self. So how can we step into being more of our authentic self after what we went through over the last year and a half of releasing? Okay. This would be a great time for you to step into a spiritual practice, maybe doing meditation, walking out in nature. I don't care what your spiritual practice is. Mine, I like walking outside in nature, and that's how I get my messages. Okay. That's how I balance my energy. So if you want to go to church, or if you want to be in some type of group that deals with spirituality, or maybe doing sound bowls, okay, that probably could help you, because Libra, you guys are so talented, right? And you can do anything. And a lot of Libras that I have seen can play a lot of different types of musical instruments, or really into music. So maybe learning how to do sound healing, all right? Or maybe go to a sound healer. That could definitely help you get back into balance, or maybe have some type of download about a creative spiritual practice that you could do. Hope that helps you out, Libra. All right, Scorpio. Hello, Scorpios. That's my sister sign. So Mars rules Aries, and in traditional astrology, it rules Scorpio. So, Scorpio, you are having this in your 11th house. So, the 11th house rules our friendships, our group associations, service to humanity. Okay. So, there could be a letting go of friendships that no longer serve because maybe your group associations have changed. Maybe you have realized, like, I'm no longer this person who identifies as this. Therefore, I need to identify as somebody else with some new groups and setting long-term goals with these groups of people or with these new friends. I would say that the 11th house rules technology. So if you have been playing a lot of video games, or if you have gotten in a bad habit of playing games on your phone, or having the phone by you every chance, or maybe if you have a YouTube channel or an Instagram channel, looking at it every 5 seconds to see how many likes you got, okay? You need to detox from that. So how can we detox from technology? Well, you're a water sign, maybe being around water or stepping outside in nature. Virgo rules nature, okay? And there's so much stuff going on in Pisces right now that it'd probably be a good for all the signs to be out in nature, or to eat natural foods, or to be in some type of good health practice. That can help us all. So that will be good for you, Scorpio, okay? It's also a good time for you to probably be in a spiritual practice, because Pisces rules spirituality, and we are going, and the sun is there now in your 5th house of being creative and being fun, okay? So if you work with pets, possibly, it will be a good time for maybe you to think about, okay, well, how can I up my game working with pets? And maybe I want to be a Reiki healer for pets, or maybe I want to learn how to do pet massages or something like that. Okay. That would be good for you guys. Simply because I see right here, you have Aries, and you're going to have another eclipse in your 6th house here. And the 6th house controls Virgo. So what new practice would you like to bring in that you could bring into your day-to-day, that it could also bring you income? Because Scorpio controls hidden money. So how could we learn something new to bring into our business, okay? And be of service to the community in a wider sense, not just in a smaller sense, okay? There could be some health challenges around the friends, because this is health, all right? And it is in the 11th house of our friendships. So it doesn't only apply to you, it could apply to your friends as well. So I mentioned that earlier, just trying to use your free time to see how you could be more creative and getting more income coming in as you are of service to humanity. Our almost to last sign is Sagittarius, and this is another fire sign along with Aries and Leo, and you are having this one in your 10th house. So the 10th house is all about our career. So there could be some letting go of some work habits that you have, and maybe career changes that we have. There also could be some health challenges to older people in our life, because the 10th house is about older people, the matrix, the systems of life. So there could be some changes to the systems of life, or letting go of these systems of life, okay? And the things that you aligned with in your work habits no longer align with you. Maybe you've had a change of job, so maybe you want to find a new way to go to work, or maybe you want to have a new routine at work where, well, I do this at the beginning of my work schedule, or I'm going to do all these emails the first, or I'm going to do this at lunchtime, and, or I'm going to walk on my lunch break. That would be a really good thing for you to do coming into the next 6 months for you. Okay. Cleaning up any type of work routines. Do you have an inbox full of emails that needs to be gone through, right? Or Sagittarius, if you've started a new business, maybe you way over here already doing the thing, all right, but maybe you got to clean up some of this organization so that your new concept takes flight, right? Because Sagittarius controls flight. And we want you guys to be successful, but sometimes if we're too much in the higher mind and we don't focus too much on the details, whatever we've created may not stick. Okay. So try to be more disciplined at work and just releasing the control of trying to have everything look like what you want. Okay. If something's leaving, it's because you need to do something else, or maybe you need to let go of some of these old emails that you're holding on to because you haven't looked at them for 2 years. So in your free time, if you do like to create content online, this could be a very good time for you to do that, because Virgo is controlled by Mercury, and Mercury controls social media, right? And being online, because it is the mind. All right. So how can we use our mind efficiently at work? Getting rid of the clutter and probably doing some stuff on social media and maybe put that inside of your business model, right? I'm going to do this from this time to this time, working on my social media post. All right. 3 more signs. Capricorn. Capricorn, I'm so sorry for the last, let's say 16 years, because Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, has been in your sign. And so you are stepping out of that, right? And so now it's like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to be doing now? I've just been hit pretty hard by all these transits. And the 9th house controls our beliefs, spirituality, travel. Okay, so some of those could be on the horizon for you for the next 6 months, but it's also important for you to possibly being able to release old beliefs that no longer serve. Like, why do you believe what you believe? Is it because you've been taught that? Or is it because you actually believe that and you have the proof to say that? Okay, so Capricorns tend to hold on to things a little bit longer than other people, because it is an earth sign and it does deal with our structure. So being able to release old belief systems, being able to release limiting beliefs. If the last 16 years have been hard on you, it's not always going to be like that. And you don't need to think that, oh, these bad things are always going to be happening to me. Okay, that's a limiting belief, that you think that you don't deserve certain things in your life because of choices that you've made or experiences that you've been through. Okay, going to a spiritual retreat can definitely help you figure out what it is that you want to do next, what it is that you want to learn, because this is the house of higher learning. What do you want to learn next, so that you can apply it to a business or to your next work, whatever. Okay, doing higher mind practices, whatever that is to you, whether it's doing sound healing or studying astrology or meditation, anything that's going to allow you to connect to your spirit so that you can get the prayers answered or the downloads that you are looking for. All right, Capricorn, sending you much luck. Good luck. All right, our next sign is Aquarius. Now, Pluto has just stepped into Aquarius for the next 20 years. And this is a lighter energy than it was for Capricorn, but still for Aquarius, this can cause us to have some tension points, okay? Because Pluto is about death and transformation and the rebirth of the soul, okay? So what things do you need to let go of, all right? Because this has happened in your 8th house of what Pluto controls, because Scorpio controls the 8th house. Pluto controls the 8th house. So what do we need to let go of so that we can have that death and rebirth of our transformation? So this is the letting go of detoxing negative energy in the form of habits, negative energy in form of other people, negative energy in the form of our mind and what we think about, right? Whatever you think about, that is what is going to happen. So for every bad thought, I can't believe that this happened, and what if, and what if? Let's have 2 positive thoughts. Well, this could also happen. And if that happened, well, then I can have this, okay? So being in more positive mindsets, okay? Letting go of any hidden secrets. So it could be a good idea for you to ask for help or possibly see some type of spiritualist or some type of person that maybe you can talk to if that is of interest to you, because talking and you are an air sign, talking could be good for you to let out some of these hidden secrets that maybe you've been holding on to, that possibly you need to let go of, that are maybe around limiting beliefs, maybe letting go of relationships, because this is the house of merging with others. So maybe you want to unmerge from somebody, okay? And this is about just surrendering to what is, okay? So that you can transform into the Aquarius that you are supposed to be, okay? Because I will say that through the transformation that Pluto is giving you, Pluto gives power to those who transform. And it is not easy, but if we think about the butterfly, all right, butterfly is a caterpillar before it goes into that cocoon. And I'm sure that whatever happens in that cocoon isn't fun, okay? And the butterfly is being created by the death of the caterpillar, right? And then out of that comes this magnificent creature that no longer crawls on the ground, all right, and looks like a stick, but now it's going to spread its wings and fly in the air, so it's become something totally different, okay? So just letting go of trying to control the transformation. So again, if something's trying to exit your life, don't try to hold on to it. There's a reason that it's leaving, so that you can step into your new self for the age of Aquarius, for the next astrological age. And that's another topic that maybe I'll go into another day. But we are going to be talking about the Pisces next. So hello, Pisces. All right, this is going to be in your 7th house. So the 7th house controls relationships. So for some Pisces, there could be a letting go of relationships, just like there was with Aquarius, but Libra controls relationships. And the 8th house controls merging with other people after we've had the relationship, okay? So there could be some releases of relationships which no longer in alignment. So once we let those relationships go, okay, then we can have a new relationship. Now, this could be the relationship that you have with a person, and you're like, you know, I love this family member, and I don't like the old relationship that we had, and I want to just let go of any karmic whatever we had in the past. Let's focus on having a new relationship. That would be good for you to do. And even if that person doesn't want to work things out with you, there could be a new relationship on the horizon that wants to come and sit in its place, but it's not going to be able to do it unless you let go of that relationship that you possibly could be trying to hold on to, okay? It could be hidden enemies. Open enemies coming to the surface that possibly were hidden, that you are just now seeing. So those could be easy friendships that we can let go of, right? Because those enemies have hidden. Those enemies that were hidden have now surfaced. There could be a change in your appearance, because the 7th house is is controlled by Venus and what we look like, right? So changing in your appearance could be very healthy for you right now. Maybe starting a new beauty regimen, you know, maybe doing a new hairstyle, maybe doing a new makeup, you know, way of doing your makeup. Or maybe putting together some new colors. If you always wear black, okay, how can we spice up that black to make it more colorful and fun? And getting into balance is going to be very good for you at this time, because you've got so much stuff going on in your sign. And a way to balance that energy is to look at what's going on across from you. So Pisces is a water sign, and Virgo is an earth sign. So we want to do things that are earthy in nature. What could we do that is good for us, right? Eating natural foods, that's earthy. Cleaning, organizing, those are things that are Virgo in nature, all right? And actually being outside in nature could be good for you at this time, because it could help you balance out all this Piscean type energy that could be affecting you for the next year and a half. And you want to make sure that you are in the best health possible. So the Pisces and Virgo, they control the health access. So letting go of health habits that don't serve us, or ways of looking at health that no longer serve us. I know for me, I used to think that health as a personal trainer was about exercising, and you got to weigh out all this food, and you got to eat at a certain time. Well, that served me for a while, but I let go of that. And now it's like I focus on not what the calories are, but how I feel after I eat something, how I feel after I drink something, how I feel after I do a health habit or a spiritual practice. You know, I don't exercise in the gym like I used to and throwing all that bunch of iron around. All right. I like to go outside and walk in nature. That's my favorite way to show myself love and to always and to step into some of these parts of my chart that I haven't stepped into before, right? That are more earthy. So this is why I decided to wear more of a earthy type shirt today. All right, everybody, I hope that you got something out of this video. And if you did, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to 9 Lives Energy on YouTube. And hit that notification bell so anytime I do post new content, you can be reminded of it. I will be posting another eclipse video at the end of the month about how Aries are going to be affected on this last eclipse, and also the collective, okay? Because even though the eclipse is going to be happening in Aries, the nodes are in Pisces and Virgo. So make sure that you check that out so that you can be prepared for also the next 6 months, because this is also another lunar eclipse. Thank you so much for checking me out. This is 9 Lives Energy, and together we energize your body from the inside out. Thanks so much.